Okay, so everybody knows that we are in Mercury retrograde time in Taurus. I've made plenty of videos about that one. And the one that I've been studying for and trying to come up with the right way to explain it is Pluto is going retrograde on May 1st. And you can search that up on the web, and whatever resonates with you, you're probably right. But anyhow, and I like to say and have said for a long time plenty of stuff about Pluto and Capricorn. And the retrograde Pluto going to be bouncing back and forth between Aquarius and Capricorn and then back to Aquarius. And it's going to take until, January 24 is when it will go direct into Aquarius. And I don't want to talk about, Aquarius, Pluto going to be the group. We already know this. It's every day. I mean, for real. Okay. Try to look this way, yeah? We have, I'm just going to say it, this Tucker Carlson and the other guy, Don Lemon. And, well, you can see it. You can see the division between the groups because the followers of one guy talking stink about the followers of other guy. And then, the people, either way, there's shit being talked back and forth about both of those, newscaster guys, and the way that it is coming out of all these people is so hateful, as if, people who, everybody who watches either one of those guys, for whatever reason, is somehow dented in the brain. Well, no. Okay, and the way that this is being played out is exactly how, all the guys in charge want it to play out. They want to be playing everybody against each other, and I just, no. Fuck that. Anyhow, that's a small, well, it's huge, but it's a small example of this kind. What I'm going to tell you, though, is, Pluto in the personal sense. Okay, there's a lot of guys who, oh no, it's it's the whole damn world. Okay, you're right, but every person on the whole damn world has their own demons, has their own things that they hide, right? And that they don't want anybody to see or know about, not even themselves sometimes. So if I look this way, it's because I'm looking at my notes, and because there's so much to say. All right, Pluto is also known as Hades in the Greek, and Hades is the ruler of the underworld. And if you don't know about that story, go and look it up. Hades and Persephone, or Pluto and whatever, go look it up. Okay, you want to learn that, go join my group on Facebook. The link is in the description. But the way that I have been studying this for the last couple of days is Pluto is a generational planet, meaning that from its, its orbit, it's the kind, generational traumas will happen, and they'll happen to, look this here, they'll happen to show up at the least best time. All right. For me, the way that I can describe Pluto and his message is Pluto is going to put you through hell. And you can either, think about it and what you're going to do and how you're going to go about things, or you can just keep repressing it, and it's going to come out anyway, and you're going to have to deal with it in real life, right? So Pluto plays a part in the generational traumas, okay? And a lot of astrologers like to go and tell you about past life this and reincarnation that. Okay, fine. Yes, I believe in that kind of stuff. But in this way, right, the past life I am talking about may not even be yours, but you're carrying that as a generational trauma, maybe from your mom guys, your grandma guys, your kupuna guys before your grandma guys. It could be all of that. All right. And, like I said the other day, I am a huge NCIS fan. No laugh. And the character Ducky in one of the episodes was talking to the kid, I forget, the kid with the glasses, and telling him, I think Dr. Paul, it starts with a P, the only way to get through hell is to go through it. Because why? In order to get any place, you have to do the work. And if you don't do the work, you try get around things, it's going to show up, right? Say you're baking one cake and you forget to put like sugar. Believe me, there is nothing you can do about that big lump of dough, flour, that is going to taste like shit. So, Pluto, as horrible as all of the mythology is, and the stories that we've been told and the things that we learn, Pluto is the keeper of wealth, and wealth is different for everybody. Yeah. What is it that you want on the other side of all that work? You want the peace and freedom of not having to deal with, hanging on to shit. Some of that shit might not even be yours. And doing that is really, it's hard. It will tire you out. It exhausts you. Why? Because you hide in all these secrets and really, you just want to release it. Well, it takes a lot of work to not grow. People are so worried about changing. You should be worried about not changing the pattern of trauma. Okay, I tell people a lot about my kids. I said something about my oldest, one of my last videos. Me, my children, my parents, we come from a long line, no matter what any of those people I am related to by blood, who my children are related to by blood, would like to believe. We come from generations worth of addiction and abuse. I don't care what they say. They can, deny it, go talk stink about me. Doesn't matter. My experience, my observation over the course of, we'll call it 50 years. 53, you're not going to remember before that. Sometimes you will. But for the most part, addiction was a thing. Alcoholism is addiction. Eating plenty food is addiction. Going to the doctor for find out if you get sick this, sick that, and I gotta go to the doctor. It's an addictive tendency. Okay? The only way to break these things is to come to that point where you are no longer, you don't want to keep passing that on. You don't want to continue with the family madness. And this is what Pluto serves up with, every generation. It is, you either speak up, you change the pattern, or it continues. It's like, I was abused by my children's father. Now, my mom wasn't abused, but, there was abuse in her family. And hell yes, my dad's father abused my grandmother. And for a long time, nobody wanted to say anything. Oh, that's just the way it was. Okay, whatever. Doesn't mean it didn't suck. So it finally came to a point in my own, Pluto crap, where I had to choose between saving me or saving the freaking narrative. And guess what? Was the generation after mine, my daughter, no, mom, my son, no, mom, both sons, pauhana, mom. And how did that happen? Restraining order. The other thing that was revealed through that was that when me and my kids decided we are finished with this shit, we just didn't know how to get out of it. The universe provided that out, and it sucked. But what else it also provided me with is the ability to no longer give a shit about what these people wanted, what they thought, or what they thought of me or my kids. Which, again, my father's family, they're big on achievement. They're big on getting that piece of paper. Well, it never occurs to anybody that some of us might not need that piece of paper. We might not need the paper to prove our achievement to anybody. Why? Why should I have to go and prove to anybody all these things I know? I went through them. I am an expert. I don't need no damn license. Sure, I get one coaching certificate, big freaking deal. It is what I have learned and what I know, okay, that stopped that plutonic, yeah, Pluto. Remember I said a couple videos ago. It stopped that plutonic familial generational pattern of abuse, addiction, lying, narrative, and they never like it. And they don't talk to me. And it's fine. I don't want them to talk to me. I don't want to be around bullying people. I don't want to be part of that narrative anymore. So through Pluto, through all these things, but definitely Pluto, even though it sucked, I was able to get the hell away, stop the narrative. The more, my son stopped the addiction. My daughter stopped the abuse. That came, they are the fourth generation from my grandparents where it all started, okay, for them. And they made the choice. I am Paul watching my mom go through this. I am Paul going through this myself. Cool. So I guess it's safe to say, okay, well, I went write them down. Okay. In order for us to be able to have that success, to rise from the ashes, we have got to burn first. We got to go through some shit. We have to learn it. Where the hell I'm going to put them? Anyway, astrologically, okay, Pluto is kind of like the attic. It's the storage area where all the things we've been given, everything passed down to us, even if we don't need them, don't want them, cannot find one use for them, no matter what. It's ours, and it's stored in this area in our psyche. And it comes down through this long line of people who repeat this pattern because they don't know another way to do it. Okay, so sometimes somebody just out of the blue who is, going to ignite that fuse for change through an abuse pattern, through an addiction pattern. And that's kind of like the seed, yeah, where since Pluto is a ruler of, the underworld, you think about a seed in the ground that's under the dirt, that's under the cow shit that you go buy, all the, all the compost you go make, and you go mix them all around, and then you wait, and you take care of that thing, and you make sure all the weeds is gone, you go tend to that. You don't know when, how, what it's going to do. All you know is that you chose to tend to this thing to make sure that it is not the same anymore. In other words, you go clear out the attic. You have all this room for putting other things there. Better things you want to pass down. There's no room in our lives to try fixing patterns from other people. When the pattern becomes ours, it becomes ours to change. Now, there are plenty of things that I myself changed, such as, the religious belief pattern and following it blindly. I was raised in the church. I was raised to believe that what I am doing right now is the work of the devil. No, it's not. Why? Because the way that I understand it is not that at all. Okay, I keep repeating myself. I'm Hawaiian. We have navigated our lives like we navigate the sea. with the stars. Okay, so I'm again a different kind of wayfinder, I'm a different kind of navigator, but I use the same stars. In the same way, we're all these people with these navigational skills, and they start internally, and unconsciously, a lot of these things that we were taught when we were tiny little babies, we were itty bitty cakey. It starts then, because even though we was there when our mom was pregnant with us, we weren't there. All we know is there are some things that we don't know why we behave or react or end up feeling like we feel. We have no explanation for it until we sit back and watch and go ask questions and, hey ma, how come this? And you will always know, the answer to how come this. Either way, if mom says one thing or mom says another thing or mom says nothing at all. My mom changed the subject, which, equals nothing at all. But that is not her fault. That is what she was taught. Her generation was taught. Do as you're told. My generation was taught, do as you're told or else. And then, my kids' generation was taught to ask, what the hell are you teaching us? Okay, so Pluto, like I said, is like the attic. Pluto hangs on to, it contains all these things that is like going up in the attic and opening all these boxes and seeing all these things up there. I mean, you can imagine you go open up this memory and one day it just clicks and it makes sense why your kid, who is now an adult, my kids are all adults, and you ask them, hey, kid, what about this? And they go tell you exactly how you felt. And you realize that all of your own life, you felt like that, but you just couldn't put words to it. So here are these people with our features and our mannerisms and everything we taught them, bringing to life all of this anguish and all of this turmoil and all of these things that, people tend to love to stick to these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful memories. When you go ask them about how come they don't know, why don't you know that you are behaving this way, and they go deny it. I got an auntie who is a horrible gaslighter, who forever and ever will judge the hell out of you for not having the same kind of piece of paper she laugh. She laughed at me when I told her I was a life coach. Well, at the time, people her age thought that what I actually do, which is I'm an astrologer, I'm a wayfinder. She laughed at me when she actually heard me say it. And it was in that moment that I realized, okay, I'm Paul. I don't want to go through this. Did I know how to get through that? No. What happened? Pluto happened. My family, I don't talk to them no more. Why? Because it's too painful. It's too painful to have to keep unwrapping the same damn box of shit that I never put in the attic. I was just told, this is how it is. No touch the box. Fuck the box. Pretty much. Okay, so when I tell people about Pluto going retrograde, it is not a time for you to shy away from the box. It's not a time for you to not want to clean the attic. Pluto is a generational change. It's going from the Pluto in Capricorn generation to the next one, which is Pluto in Aquarius. And again, just like I tell all my students, you go and look online. If you need the book, you go tell me. I'll give you the book. But I want you to go find out what that means and what that resonates for you and how that feels to you and if that sounds right. And if you don't know what you're looking at, tell me. I didn't get that as a kid. I was just, here's some books, go read them. And I did from a very, very young age. All this time later, the reason why I know that I teach what I teach in the way that I teach it is because nobody taught. I would have loved to have me as a teacher. I would have loved to have somebody go, okay, well, go look for it. And you come back and you show me and you tell me what you think and we'll go talk about it. And if you need more, okay, well, you will find me on, on the chat. And I'll go send you some books. You don't have to read all of them. But our time is limited here. Okay, and we are brought into this consciousness not to carry on a legacy. We're here to carry on a legacy of love and growth and change and making our family line more better. But if you're so busy packing shit in the attic and you don't even know what is in the boxes, sometimes we have no idea how the fuck come this guy act like this. I'm his mom. I never teach him that. Wait a minute. Go backwards 2-3 generations. If your parents are still alive, your grandparents are still alive, go ask those buggers. Go ask your aunties, go ask your uncles. Go look online, Ancestry. Go look it up. Do not be afraid to ask people, okay? Because when they don't tell you, they never unpacked that shit in the attic yet, okay? And I'm not talking about up here only. I'm talking about the unfoldment of events over the course of the lives of generations as provided by Pluto. Pluto, root word, Pluto, plutonium, plutonic. Plutonic people are very intense. I know this, I am one. Yeah, that's all I was told by my teachers. And it was my own studies that brought me to that. Okay, I have a sun in 8th house. 8th house is ruled by Scorpio. And so is Pluto. My sun is there. Not, well, yeah, my other sun, my big sun too. He's get sun in 8th house. So the way that we get through these plutonic lessons is, first of all, do not be afraid. Okay, one of my ridiculous videos, shorts on Instagram, the background music is Blue Oyster Cult, Don't Fear the Reaper. It's not the Reaper. The only thing you're going to kill are the lies, is the silence of not knowing. Okay, so when we're talking about Pluto, we're talking about generations. And when we're talking about generations, there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of addiction in this world. There's a lot of hatred in this world. How did we get here? If you went and looked at, this bugger Dylan, and I couldn't say anything else about him. Those closest to me know exactly how I feel. But if you went backwards and you go try to look for things online that have nothing to do with who this person is now, you would figure out a couple things about that person and why they like this right now. Okay, it's kind of like, how come my father's sister is the way she is? Well, of course, I'm going to go look at the family charts. And I found out why. Am I going to state it here? No. Why? Because I already know why. I went go look. And yeah, there's a lot of soul searching, and there is a whole lot of having to accept the truth after having been force fed, possibly for a lot of generations. This denial of shameful things, hurtful things, ugly things, abusive things that people have dressed up as something else. Pluto will not allow that to happen anymore. So, yeah, go click on the links that I leave. I don't know if you guys go do that. Go follow me on Instagram, and all you vahine, all you ladies, I do have a free learning group on Facebook. I know someplace on my about page for YouTube, there's an email address. You can leave comments. I don't know if get one subscribe button. I don't know. I'm not that cool. But thank you for watching, and yeah, you know it. I'll be back. Aloha.